Hi everyone, welcome back to my next video. Today we're going to meet Radar, an unusual name. We'll learn more about that. And a beautiful Ram ProMaster that you built out yourself, mostly.
Yes.
Yeah, nice, really nice setup. So I guess first we got to learn about Radar. Where did you get that name?
So my last name is Raiden, and I used to show quarter horses, and so my trainer just always called me Radar, and I thought it was a good road name, and people seem to remember it better than they do all the names that they hear every day. So
nice. Now, of course, I just think of Radar O'Reilly.
everybody does.
So from MASH. So,
but that's an easy thing to remember
it
too.
Is.
So it doesn't matter what the association
works.
is. Yeah, exactly.
You don't look exactly like him, but a little bit.
Thank you so much.
Not at all like him. And so how long have you been out on the road?
I've been out 3 full years, full time in it.
That is a long time now.
Yeah.
That's
It's gone by quick though.
Yeah, when you're having fun.
Exactly.
And all in your Ram?
Yes.
And so you must have bought this new, really one of its first years.
It's a 2014, and I bought it in 2016, and it was a plumber's truck. And so I had to take out there was a bunch of plywood shelving and everything in it, so I ripped all that out and then went to town on converting it.
And when we go inside, you'll see you did a fantastic job.
Thank
you must have a carpentry background.
No, but I have, like I own 10 acres and you would build things and put up fences. And so, and I was married at one time to a carpenter. And I have more experience with sewing. And my husband at the time had said to me, we do the same thing. We just have different materials.
Right.
And so, the measuring, the cutting, and I love doing all that stuff. So when I first thought about doing this, it was kind of like I had to really decide, am I just intrigued by the project because I love doing that kind of stuff? Or, is it the lifestyle that I would feel like I would really, get hooked onto? So.
Well, after 3 years, you probably have an idea. Is this something you kind of like doing?
Yeah, I kind of do. And I went out sort of with the idea that, I have no idea what this is like. I don't know the people out there or anything. And I thought, I can go out for 2 weeks. If I hate it, I just go back and do something else. And so obviously I didn't. I stuck with it and I've enjoyed it and it's been great.
A lot of people are worried when they start out, will I have friends? Am I just going to wander around and be all lonely all the time?
Yep.
Has that been an issue for you?
Not much, because the first year I came, I thought, I had heard about the RTR. And so it was January 2017. And I said, I'll just go there. I'll see who else is doing this. And I showed up, got out of my rig, walked up to 3 people, and said, is this the RTR? Is this where I'm supposed to be? And they said, yeah. And they swooped me up, and it happened to be Randy Vining and CB and a few other people and a couple of newbies. And we all traveled around a bit together initially for a while. So I got, very familiar with how it's done and where you go and who the people are. And so for me, that ended up being just a really quick connection. And from that, of course, going to all the different gatherings and stuff that are out there, I met other great people, and, little tribe, and we stay connected and we come and go. And so, it's just, and now with these caravans, I think, which is a great opportunity for people, especially new people, to go.
Right.
I don't have to be alone. There's always some group I can find.
Right.
So.
Yeah. I think the caravans were one of the best things we've done.
Yeah.
And you're in one of the women's caravans now.
Now, yes.
So it's women only here.
It is.
And that works well for you.
Yeah. This is the first time I've hooked up with this group, and my girlfriend and I had just come from Lake Havasu, staying with some friends there, and thought, let's go check out some of the caravans, because I had not connected with the different caravans. And so we thought, we'll come here, and we're just enjoying the people, and the spot is great.
This is a great spot.
Yeah, so so here we are.
And you'll try another one maybe, or
exactly.
You and a few friends will go off, and whatever your heart wants that day.
Right, that day.
That day.
Exactly.
And it might not be the same tomorrow.
That's right. An hour from now.
Yes. And all you gotta do is turn that key, and drive away.
Yeah, that's the beauty of this sort of lifestyle, is that freedom, and
Right.
even in your tribes and in the caravans, that
Right.
ability to just kind of ebb and flow according to your own vibe, and it works really well.
And I really think that kind of freedom and control over your life and destiny is why most of us are so relaxed and comfortable and
Mm-hmm.
come on, I'll meet you and we'll be friends.
Yep,
And
yep.
you don't it's really an amazing thing.
Yeah, and I think one of the things that I have noted is that you end up interacting. You sit around campfires with
Right.
so many different kinds of people and from so many different walks of life that you would not otherwise have ever crossed paths with.
Right.
And so all that sort of assessment and judgments and things like that, they just kind of fall away, and you just go, here's another person doing the same thing I'm doing. We have entirely different backgrounds, and yet here we are, in the same place, sharing the same kind of lifestyle and enjoying that same kind of environment, and just accepting everybody.
Right.
So that's a great part of this lifestyle.
Another thing that a lot of people are concerned about when they come out, when they first think about doing such a crazy thing, is they're afraid for their safety.
Mm.
And then when they start telling their friends, all their friends say, "Oh, you can't do that. Bad things. This will happen. This will happen. This will happen." So was fear a problem for you?
Never was.
Never was.
But I did get a lot of that,
Right.
and I still get it when I talk to some people, and they'll say, "Well, do you have a gun? Do you carry a gun with you?
Right.
Do you have a dog?" Or, I'm like, "No, I don't have either, and I've never been afraid." And part of not having to feel fearful is that you always can find people,
Right.
to hang with. It was also one of the reasons I did decide to do this kind of a rig, is because if I ever did feel fearful, I don't have to get out.
Right.
I can just climb in the front seat and drive away.
Very important.
And so for me, that was like, okay, that'll kind of make me know that no matter where I feel like wherever I end up parking, at different times you're going from point A to point B, and you'll park someplace that you don't know, and you are alone. And I have done that. I've never felt afraid, but I've always felt like if I do feel any sense of discomfort, I can just drive away. So
Again, you're in control.
yeah.
I mean, it can be lost, but
Yeah.
for the most part, you are in control of your life and your
Yeah,
destiny.
yeah, yeah.
And so I think you said something really important. I want to emphasize that. Have you had an experience where you were afraid for yourself in the last 3 years?
No.
Never.
Nope.
It just
never.
doesn't happen.
Nope.
And that's a question I try to ask everyone, and they almost always say no.
Yeah.
And if they do say yes, it was more of a feeling than an actual
A bit.
danger.
Yeah. Right.
So
Yeah.
those come and go.
It's scarier in the city.
Much scarier than the city. Yeah, I agree 100% with that. Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't. I pretty much exclusively boondock, but I won't go out into an area and park by myself and not see any other rigs. I would go out into an area like this and know that I can see 3 or 4 or 5 other rigs or something, and then I'm okay.
Mhm.
But to be out someplace completely by myself,
Right.
I won't do that.
That makes sense.
Yeah. That
This makes sense.
makes me feel really vulnerable.
Right.
But you can always find people.
Right.
So.
And so, how were you paying for it? You must be retired.
I am retired. I had property. I sold property. I had some savings, and I carry some loans, so I make interest on those loans. And so, I'm lucky. I have enough resources behind me that I don't have to worry about any of that. And I pretty much live off the interest of those loans, and keep my IRA and my savings pretty much intact. And because
The future's coming.
I just hope I don't outlive my money.
Right. That's always,
And that's under my control too.
it is. Right.
So, yeah, so that's pretty much how I support it. And you live pretty frugally out here.
You do.
You're not buying crap, and you're not spending money on tons of food or restaurants or anything like that. And so I would say that on average I live somewhere between $800 and $1,200 a month, bar any repairs that need to be done or something
Right.
like that.
And that's not because you don't have it. It's because what are you going to spend it on?
Right. So it's easy to live fairly inexpensively if you don't want a bunch of junk.
Right. And one of the best things about living in a van is you can't have a bunch of
No.
junk. Something comes in, kind of something has to go out
Exactly.
first.
It's kind of taking the joy out of shopping,
Yeah, it does.
But yeah, it simplifies things.
Yeah.
It's a good way.
Good.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for sharing all that with
Sure.
us. Would you be okay if we took a look around in your van?
Absolutely.
I've peeked. Had an advantage.
Yeah.
And you just did a beautiful job.
Thank you. Thank
Really
you.
beautiful job.
It was kind of well, slam it together, go out, and I mean, originally I had these grandiose ideas, from watching videos, and then once I bought the van, I'm like, oh, okay, what's different about this picture? It's like, oh, all those videos I watched, they were guys with tools with their dad in their garage and their woodworkers, and I'm like, okay, well, and there were times when I thought, I can't do this. I don't know, I just don't have enough knowledge or experience. And I said to my son, I'm gonna hire somebody, and he just looked at me and said, you can make a lot of mistakes for $80 an hour, Mom. And I'd be like, okay, fine. And so I just stuck with it, and it's turned out to be very comfortable and cozy, and I'm real happy with it.
And there's so much on YouTube. I would
There
assume
is.
that you did a lot of watched
I did.
YouTube and
I did.
guys who did their builds and walked through it.
So that helps you figure out,
It
all the
does.
insulation options and layout options and things like that.
Right.
So yeah, there's so much information out
There
there.
is.
It makes it real easy. Yeah. So yeah, you want to take a peek inside?
Let's take a peek.
Okay.
So folks, I'm going to end this video now so you can watch the interview, and then coming right up will be the tour, actually going in and taking a look around. And so stay tuned for that. I hope you got something of great value to you out of this video. If you did, like us on YouTube, subscribe to the channel, hit that thumbs up button, and we'll talk to you later.